Well, I'd say start of the second half is a big part of the story. They did a great job, came out at halftime and went on a 9-0 run. I had to call a timeout after just 2 minutes, which I never like to do. We fought back late, but you got to give them credit. They shot lights out from three. They shot 55% in the first half, 44% for the game. And I thought they out-rebounded us 41-34. They had 22 assists. We had 19 and only 5 turnovers. That's probably the best we've done, not turning the ball over and still sharing the ball very well. We forced some turnovers, gave us a chance late in the game, and unfortunately we're not able to overcome their 10-point lead.
Coach, what do you see, with the rotation, the lineup at the end of the game, you decided to kind of opt away from North China and that kind of led to a run. What did you see kind of from Georgia Tech's defense that made you opt that way?
Well, it wasn't Georgia Tech's defense. It was our defense on Georgia Tech. We were having a very hard time switching and keeping them in front. So when that happened, we needed two things. We needed to go with a team that could possibly switch and be successful, but also a pressing team where we could be up on the ball and trying to force turnovers. And that gave us a lot of three-point shooting on the court as well. So I thought the guys did a good job. We had, what was it, a fast break with how much time left? 40 seconds or something? Keyshawn had the ball and Chris Watson running the lane. And every possession in the last 5 minutes is so critical, and that one probably the most important in the game.
And I would understand, obviously, this game didn't end up how you wanted it to, but it did seem like there was definitely a change in effort and, emphasis on that. And what'd you like from that, just seeing the energy the team was playing with down the stretch?
Yeah, I would say the first half was very entertaining. We scored 49 points. They scored 44. They shot lights out. We shot really well. And I was hoping that for us that would continue and we'd be able to guard them better, but it turned out the opposite. We missed a lot more shots, and they kept on a roll, including that 9-0 run to start the half.
You mentioned the 9-0 run. Georgia Tech has been a team that hasn't started the second half well this season. What was kind of going on in that first 2 minutes of the half for your team?
Well, the first was Kabari drove down the lane and dunked the ball. And the next one is we gave up a wide-open three. So then they got it. That's a 5-0. And then they get another easy basket off a turnover. So when you're not playing well at the offensive end and the other team is really taking advantage, and that's what they did to start the second half. If you look at their scoring for the game, Miles Kelly had 25 and made 7 threes. Right? So when you have one guy that's red hot, and he started the second half that way too. He started the game that way, but he started the second half, and those 10 things tend to have the domino effect. One guy's making threes, then the next guy makes threes, and the next guy makes threes, and pretty soon you're feeling very, very confident about the way you're playing offense.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about how Keyshawn George played incredibly well first half, 16 points, and then didn't record a field goal in the second half? What went into his role in the second half?
Well, in the first half, I thought he did a really good job of getting in rhythm. In the second half, we needed to make some changes defensively because they just went on a 9-0 run. So he was the one that I took out and eventually got him back in. But some of coaching is guessing like who can give you a hot hand off the bench. One of the main things for us this year has been when I look at the bench scoring, I think we've been outscored in how many games have we played now? 28? I think we've been outscored like off the bench. Well, in conference play, we've now played 17 conference games. I think we've been outscored in 14 of those 17 from the bench. And that has always been a concern of mine. Part of that comes from the injuries. We didn't have Nigel tonight. So would it help just to have one more guy?
Couple more?
Can you talk a little bit more about what you saw from your bench today? Watson played more minutes than they usually do.
Yeah, I was looking for answers. And when Wooga went down, we put Christian Watson in, and he did a nice job. He ended up, 2 for 5 from the field and 1 for 3 from the foul line. So, but he was a +6 in the time that he was out there, so that's pretty good.
You mentioned Wooga Poplar. I mean, obviously he went down with the injury there and was able to come back in the game. I mean, I know he's battled injuries throughout this season, but did it appear to be anything serious or?
No, he said to me, one of his teammates fell on his leg and twisted the ankle. He just needed to get out and be sure that the ankle was okay. I put him right back in within a minute.
Last question? Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank